gentlemen, will you please welcome the yet again award-winning writer, Donal Ryan. This time, Donal's here for winning Short Story of the Year, the Writing.ie award. So make him very welcome, please.
Thanks very much.
Donal, you've won so many awards at this point for your novels as such, but what does it mean for you to win for a short story tonight?
It's just amazing. It's an amazing feeling, actually. I can't believe it. And I know I often say it, but it was such a strong category. And of course, I forgot to mention my fellow nominees in my speech, and my amazing editor, Brian Langan, and my publishers, of course, so I totally neglected to mention. But
Did you mention your wife?
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We've already had one of those this evening.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
God.
we had a no husband mention, so
Oh, right,
you're fine then,
yeah.
you're absolutely fine. But I mean, you've been hailed as a writer who captures rural Ireland, the voice of rural Ireland, and the characters, many characters that are there. Is that something that you work at, or is that just the landscape that you know that you enjoy to explore?
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like a bit of a cheat because, I mean, it's so easy to write rural Ireland for me because it's where I'm from, you know, this is the life I've lived, these are the people I know, and it's so accessible, and it just seemed to me like almost a mechanism for writing, you know. It just seemed like the easiest way to get my stories down was to use the voice and the landscape and language and lexicon of the place I'm from. It just seemed natural.
So you're a chancer is what you're telling me, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I've been bluffing for the last 5 years.
And there's still
I reckon another year, yeah.
The short story that you won for it's shocking, it's brutal, it's graphic. It tells the story of two brothers who are being attacked in their home. Why that story? Why did you want to tell that particular story and use that voice?
Well, first of all, I mean, there's a kind of a wave of evil spreading across our country, you know. I mean, there are people who will do these things to their fellow man, and I thought about it a lot, really, you know. And I thought about these people and what way they must think, you know, how their minds must work. And I was thinking, you know, not everybody who commits these acts, you know, could want to do it. And so there's kind of a redemptive moment in the story, and there's a character who's almost fully redeemed, I think, in the story. But it is a dark story. But it's funny, I didn't see it as being as dark as it actually, as it wound up being. You know, people tell me my stories and my novels are very dark. I don't see the darkness as much as the people who read my books. But then, I mean, you can't prescribe, you can't say to somebody, this is how you should take my story or my book. Because, you know, when you write, you create a contract and you can't dictate the terms. The terms are dictated by the person who accepts your contract and reads your book or your story, which is totally fine.
You've talked in the past about the demands of the short story form and how really something has to happen, that by the end of the story the character is changed forever, or certainly our understanding of the character is changed forever. In this story, it certainly is, and I feel weird, I don't even give away the twist. Let's go for it and they can edit it out. But basically, one of the men who's attacked, the brother who survives, his attacker becomes his carer.
Yes.
It's an absolute punch to the gut as a reader. It's right at the end. Did you know that twist as you sat down to write the book or the story, or did that just come to you as you're coming along? You thought, actually, that's a really interesting concept.
You know, it's funny, I've tried to remember and I can't remember. I can't remember actually mostly the writing of that story, the actual act of writing it, which is funny. Because I kind of went a bit mad writing those stories. I found them so hard. I should have realised, because it's 20 stories making up a book that's the same length as a novel. And they're 20 self-contained pieces of fiction, pretty much. So it was far more intense. And 3 or 4 times I gave up completely and said to Anne-Marie, look, I'm quitting. Tell Doubleday the deal's off, and the money they've given me, they can have it back, and I'm going back to work. Because I just can't do this. I'm not able to do it. And I think that story was one of the ones written when I was in that fairly negative state about writing, and it just came out. But, you know, Joseph O'Connor said it, and lots of writers who I really respect and admire have said it. You must let your characters lead, you know, and they'll take you places. And that I think the ending just kind of appeared on its own. Yeah.
I'd urge anyone to read it. It's an extraordinary ending and has haunted me since, so thanks for that. Can I ask you about J.P. Dunleavy tonight, what it meant for you to be involved in recognising his contribution? Yeah,
it was such an honour, actually. Anthony Farrell mentioned it to me. I said, no, I can't do it. I'd be too, I'm not worthy. I'd be too nervous. Please don't ask me. And even though I said no, he made me do it. And I'm so glad he did, because it's such an honour, you know. I mean, he's a legend. He's an amazing writer. He didn't put a word wrong, I think, in 25, 30 books. He's unbelievable in plays and philosophy and non-fiction. He's unreal. I mean, and he literally hopped up those steps tonight, you know. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Donal Ryan, take your award, go off and celebrate, enjoy your night, and huge congratulations on winning Short Story of the Year.
Thanks.